All right, welcome back. My name is Kat. I'm here with Buffalo Galaxy. This is Off the Records. This is the behind the scene portion. Lots going on. Do you guys want to say your names, the names of all your band members who also aren't speaking, instruments you play? Catch everyone up.
Yeah,
Thunder and Lightning, Pistol Pete Whiteman on the big fiddle, Jacob Danger Rhodey on the mandolin, Zach Tower on the 5-string. I'm Johnny.
And you're Johnny.
Johnny Hot Hands. That's
Johnny
what we
Hot
call him.
Hands. That's good.
Fiery fingers over there.
Oh, wow. You guys really were just a lot of alliteration.
I was ready for that question. What are our names? I was ready for that one.
Yeah, you were pretty excited about that one. I see the light in your eyes, feeling good about it. So what have you been up to since we last saw y'all at the Bluegrass Festival?
Ooh.
Well, last weekend we did this really great kind of family bluegrass festival called Boats and Bluegrass over in Winona. It's right on the river. There are boats. There's also bluegrass.
Were
There's
you
lots
on a
of-
boat?
I was at one point.
I
I don't know.
did.
Yeah, you
I
made
did.
it over on the boat as
Jake
well.
was.
I think we all got on the water at some point.
Nice.
It was a little cold for a bit, but it was kind of a nice way to end our outdoor performance season.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Were you performing at a lot of different places this summer?
Ooh, yeah. We tried to squeeze in as much as we could. We did 2 or 3 different runs out to the Black Hills. We did
Yeah.
Colorado, and we played up in the mountains. That was lovely.
Spearfish. We didn't really stop last winter either. There were a couple shows canceled for blizzards, and we like to go play in Spearfish, South Dakota. And it turns out the first time we were there, the whole reason it's called Spearfish, or maybe not the reason it's called that, but we played this outdoor festival midwinter, and they throw a flaming spear into a fish, which catches on fire. And so that was
they
pretty
burn
cool.
a giant fish effigy. We saw that this year. We
Did
saw
they do
it.
that like while you were playing, or was that a different
It
portion?
was right after. That
Yep.
would have been really cool.
That would have been super cool. Like fishes on stage. And
It was a cold set too. It would have been warmer. It would have warmed us
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
is that like hard to play? Like, do your fingers not like freeze
yeah.
up?
Yeah.
Yeah, over the years I've found that fingerless gloves and then the hot hands, hand warmers, put those in the
Is
gloves.
that where you got
They
your
named
name?
him after him.
Yeah, I'm hoping for that. I'm hoping for that endorsement. So if you're listening,
Yeah, if you're a hand warming company and you're listening to
Right.
okay right now, just know you have an avid fan.
right.
So,
Uh,
Bluegrass Festival specifically in review, we've gotten a little farther away from it. How are you feeling about the one that you played, that we met you guys at?
Oh man, that was so much fun. They had like so many things going on. Like they built a freaking square dance floor. Like they laid out an entire wood floor for
Yeah.
people to go square dancing on.
Did
It
you go
was
square
great.
dancing?
I did go square dancing. I popped in. And there was a bunch of stages going on, bunch of really fun picking. Like every campsite you went to, every campfire at night had some music, being played around it. And
So, were you guys participating in those like jam sessions?
yeah, we
Yeah.
Pete told
it
me
was a long weekend.
yeah, Pete told me the next morning. It was like I don't remember what was Friday or Saturday night, but the next morning we met up. I saw you. I hadn't seen you for a while, and you're like, I was looking for you, and then I heard your voice like ringing out in the trees, and I was like, oh,
I was going to sleep at like 3 a.m, and I heard Johnny's just bright tenor coming across the field, and I was like, oh, there he is. Well, I'm gonna fall asleep anyway.
yeah.
It was really nice though. I woke up and there were hot air balloons going across the area. I was like, what is that
Really?
noise?
They have it all.
And yeah, it's-
Horseback riding. What don't they have there?
I think I missed the hot air balloon. I'm gonna
yeah,
been sleeping.
so did I. I'm upset about it.
We're gonna just have to go back next year.
Yup.
Fingers crossed. So for some of our listeners who maybe have never been to a bluegrass festival before, how would you describe these like jam sessions that you guys were just talking about? Like, what does that look like? Who's in them? What does that mean?
Hopefully approachable. They don't always tend to be necessarily. I say that even as a musician sometimes. I think that usually there's a really nice like culture around bluegrass that is all encompassing, and it's like, hey, you have an instrument, come play and sit and pick with us. You can sometimes I feel like you got to walk around and find the right one though, like, but there's all sorts of different types of music that might be happening at a festival like that. And I always say to just like, I follow my ears,
Sure, yeah.
So like, because you might walk up to one and there's 25 people all playing a Jimmy Buffett song. And then you might walk up to one and there's all sorts of people playing like some Django Reinhardt or something. Or you might walk up to one and it's just like, yeah, it's not luck of the draw, but I think it's really nice how approachable it makes.
It seems a little unique to bluegrass that so many people know so many of the songs. They know the catalog, and they have like a shared language. So you can show up.
And I would say folk music as well.
Sure.
You
Yeah.
know.
I don't think you have that so much at like an EDM festival or like a rock and roll festival or anything like that. It's not like so much of a shared catalog of music that you can just sit down with like almost anyone there and be like, do you know this song? Like, yeah, I know that one. Let's play it together. Yeah. So you can kind of,
Right. And everybody might play it a little bit differently, but then you just learn from one another,
I think that was one of the most surprising things from the festival is we kind of been like sort of told these like jam sessions were happening. And I was like, sure.
The mythical jam
with,
session.
Zero context. And then suddenly it's like midnight and we just like stumbled upon a bunch of people in a tent with a wide variety of instruments that they had brought, like all playing music.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, this is the coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you usually play like your instruments when you're in jam sessions, or do you like pick up something you've never?
I play his sometimes. I like playing his.
I don't get to play his because he's a lefty.
Yeah.
I try sometimes. But yeah, Johnny can play a right-handed bass pretty nicely.
Ambidextrous.
I tend to sometimes bring around like my guitar, just because you don't have to lug around a giant, a room full of an instrument,
There's usually enough guitars, so I'd say if anybody really wants to get into it, bring anything other than a guitar, and there won't be. You'll have like a lot of. I don't know. People will be stoked.
People will be
Oh
stoked.
no, not another guitar! But then like, oh, you got a fiddle? Sweet, get in here. Like,
every once in a while, you find somebody with like a hammered dulcimer.
Yeah, something real
like,
cool.
Walking around and like
Squeeze box, whatever.
It's
Yeah.
one of the joys of that, I think.
That's super cool. So how did you first get introduced to bluegrass, like as a genre?
Whoa.
For me, I'm from Duluth, so there's a lot of folk and bluegrass. It's like kind of, they like to claim Bob Dylan up there, which is really from Hibbing technically, but also anyway, like Minneapolis likes to claim Bob Dylan as well. Like it's like anywhere that he lived, even if he hated it. But it's just a culture of like really acoustic folk music going on. So I feel like it wasn't until I actually saw a bluegrass band like in my early 20s did I realize like, oh, this has been around in the periphery of my life like for hours. So it's kind of like the encompass of like a warm friend that knows you, that you actually finally
familiar sound that you're my dad listened to a lot of classic rock, and the Eagles always had banjo on a record or on a song. Like there was always some banjo in there somewhere, and I remember hearing that little and being like, oh, that sounds really cool.
Yeah, there was always banjo going on in classic rock. Now that I think about it,
yeah,
it's like, where'd that come from?
A sneaky banjo.
Constantly a banjo. So it sounds like you guys are outside a lot this summer, touring around. You've seen a decent part of the country, or a decent amount of the country, just musically touring. Is there anywhere that you have not gone yet that you really want to go?
Oh my gosh.
Oregon.
Japan.
San Juan Islands.
Japan.
Yeah, Japan. We have a friend.
The Keys.
Yuya, who's actually a fantastic painter. Yuya Nagashi. He does live painting with us every once in a while, but he's a Japanese person, and he was like, come, like, if you guys buy me a ticket, I will set you up with a Japan tour. So hopefully
like
that happens.
That would be sick. I heard there was actually like a bluegrass like scene in Japan. Is this?
There is. There totally is.
It's the second biggest market for bluegrass music because there were all these expats over there.
Yep. After
And-
World War II, they would put bluegrass on the radio out there.
Yeah,
And
and-
people just fell in love with it because they have a lot of similar instruments out there.
With so many things in Japanese culture, they just took it and perfected it better
Right.
than we ever could have, you know.
Right.
But
No,
it
for
really-
sure.
They have some of the best orchestras out there too, and they have some of the best Irish whiskey as well. You know? Like, so
You're just full of fun facts
yeah.
today. That's
be-
so cool.
it'd be fun to go do that, but we got to get the bus down to a coast as well.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a preference on coast?
We're gonna shoot for Florida. We're gonna maybe the Gulf, maybe the Atlantic this winter.
Is there a bluegrass scene in Florida?
Well,
A Florida man told me once.
A singular person from Florida.
there's some bluegrass down there. Oh yeah, there's
Okay.
definitely some bluegrass down there.
Okay, that's
There's
super cool.
there's bluegrass.
Gator
I would say
grass.
that there's probably a lot more going on the West Coast. Plus, you know, we do a lot of Grateful Dead, like in the jam scene type of a thing, which is
That's
really has
everywhere.
its roots over on the West Coast. But
Mhm.
that being said, yeah, it's everywhere
Yeah.
when it comes down to it.
Is there anywhere that you played and kind of have found like unexpected support? You're like, wow, I really did not think that there was going to be a wild bluegrass scene here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
to
we
be honest.
yeah. The Black Hills was like
Yeah.
incredibly kind and accepting of us and like super stoked. We went out there and we're like,
Mhm.
oh, we got a gig. We're like, let's see what this is about. And like,
The Black Hills, Wisconsin is always like very receptive.
yeah,
Just the entire state.
Yeah,
yeah,
pretty
to
much.
be honest. Yeah.
pretty much.
Yeah. I am always surprised that it's like you always want to go play in these big metro areas and everything, but nobody even bats an eye at any incredible musician like idols that I look up to could be playing in Denver or playing in Chicago or something. And nobody, it's just like, oh, this happens every day, whatever. But it's really kind of like the rural slices of Americana.
Yeah,
that-
some of the coolest
that
shows are like
those.
you're not expecting it. We'll show up and we'll be like, "What's the name of this town?" Like,
Yeah.
and then we'll get there and we're like, "Whoa, this is the coolest thing!" Like,
Doop-de-doop.
yeah,
That's so cool. You've mentioned a couple names, but I was wondering, so outside of bluegrass, like what other genres or artists kind of influence your playing? Because you guys don't do just like straight acoustic.
Right.
sure, yeah.
Pizza
jazz, man.
Yeah, I played a lot of jazz growing up and everything. So
And Zach's a DJ, so he
Yeah.
listens to a lot of. What's your preferred BPM? Like 130, 140, 128.
house.
128
Deep
is
house.
his preferred BPM.
Zach loves deep house. It's kind of nice when we're on the bus and we have 16 hours to fill just to hear everyone's tastes a little bit. Jake was a percussionist before he played mandolin and everything, so I know that we both share the fascination with a lot of like polyrhythmic, like kind of
Yeah.
African music and stuff like that. Yeah, I would say it's always really difficult for me to pick a genre, but I love it all. Your grandpa, tell him about your grandpa.
I came from musical.
He was what
people.
was he, the Johnny Carson band?
No, he got an offer to be on Johnny Carson, but he had to turn it down.
Okay.
'Cause his
He had to
wife
turn it
didn't want to
down?
go. I know.
Yeah. Johnny's like a living songbook, you know. He's
Oh,
got
thanks, Pete.
he wants to do like a Justin Bieber pop album.
It'll happen.
I can't
We'll
wait.
get there.
I can't
We'll
wait.
get
On the
there.
edge of my seat. Just know that.
We'll get there.
And I know that the two
All
of
right.
us are definitely really into pop punk and stuff like that
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
Wow, I bet you guys have fun car rides.
Yeah.
You just hit shuffle and you're just going everywhere.
Yeah.
That'd be
Yeah.
pretty cool. So another thing I'm kind of curious about. So a lot of the people who are playing in the bluegrass scene usually tend to be on the older side, like an older genre. And so I'm wondering if you've ever gotten like any really good pieces of advice from someone who has just lived longer than you guys while you've just been at these different venues or festivals or jam sessions.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think some of the, like, it doesn't even have to be like somebody looking at you and being like, I see you struggling. Here's this. It can be so subtle. Like some of these jams that I used to go to when I was younger, it was like the old guy jam circle that every Thursday, and like we'd go hang out, and it was guys and girls, but I just called it my old guys jam circle. And it was amazing like how subtle they could be in like showing you something or explaining something to you without words. Yeah. Like just like how they would step into a lead taking like a solo, or how they would sing, or what they were doing, or like if you were singing a song, how they would like support you in some way, be like, oh, here. You know, like they'll sing a really nice, strong harmony so that you can kind of figure out where you're at in the song, you know, like just super subtle ways of like.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say it's not really forceful ever often. It really does like lie within subtlety, like the way that some of the people who've been around the scene can really like guide or be supportive in a way that like, I don't know, maybe you're forgetting the lyrics to a song, and somebody will jump in and sing it, but then the second that you get back on track to singing that song, then they'll like lean away. You know, it's like we've all been here before. You know, like
right.
we're just helping each other out in that sense, and yeah, it's kind of like leading by action. I feel like
that's really cool. That's super cool.
Yeah.
Where do you think bluegrass is heading, like as a genre?
To outer space.
Cool.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
I would agree.
On the moon. Bluegrass on the moon.
Yeah, you see like Billy Strings is one of the great younger bluegrass musicians, and he's playing music with all sorts of like hip hop folks now, and it's like the way that I kind of see it is that the instruments are just like a brush, and then the music you paint with it is your palette, you know. So there's a lot of people will see a banjo and be like, "Oh, bluegrass, country," but it's really changing.
See what
right
some
now.
people are doing with the banjo these days. It's wild, you know.
Exactly.
It's
sneaky,
just
sneaky
wild.
banjo.
Yeah, it'll get you. Yeah.
And so you guys' name, Buffalo Galaxy. What's your favorite constellation?
Ooh.
I am fond of Cassiopeia. I always like looking up and seeing that M in the sky. Orion is an obvious one, but that's you know, I have my winter and my summer constellations. What about you, Johnny?
I don't know. The dippers are the only ones I can find. You know, I know that
Dippers
much.
are a good one. They're
I can
classic.
find the dippers.
Yeah. Do you like the big one or the little one?
Well, the little one's got the North Star.
Exactly.
So, you know.
Polaris.
Right?
Okay, we have some star favorites.
Ah.
What would you say to our Radio K listeners who have maybe never really listened to bluegrass or leaned into the genre or heard too much about it?
You can find any different like there's like so many branches of bluegrass. There's like if you like punk rock, you can find like super fast like punk rock style bluegrass. If you like classical music, you can find like really wild composed classical music on bluegrass instruments. Like you can find something in there, I'm sure. If you know.
Yeah. I would tell them that it's kind of like jazz. But if you say you don't like bluegrass or you're not into it, you've probably already been listening to it and you don't realize it. In the same way that if you're like, oh, I hate jazz, like it's like there's a million jazz songs that you love as well.
Yeah, it's
if
just
music's
haven't found the right bluegrass.
Yeah, exactly.
If the music's made with heart, then you got a heart, don't you? Everybody's got a heart, so you're gonna feel it. You know, you can feel it if you open up to it.
Very wise words. What branch of bluegrass would you describe Buffalo Galaxy as?
So there's a number of terms that people are tossing around these days for things that aren't really traditional bluegrass. Progressive bluegrass is an all-encompassing thing. Jam grass.
I've been trying to get the deep space light speed bluegrass.
You're trying to get people on that
going
wavelength.
as a genre.
Yeah. Deep space,
Deep
light
space,
speed. Cosmic, I don't know. Jamgrass is like a term that a lot of folks will use for,
That's the umbrella term.
yeah, for kind of like these jam bands that are using acoustic instruments and everything, which we certainly fall into.
That's very cool. What's up next for Buffalo Galaxy? Where are y'all headed besides outer
Whoa.
space?
We're
Grand Marais.
yeah,
next
next weekend we're going up to Grand Marais for 2 days. Hopefully the leaves are still up there.
And then after that, we're going to Madison, and then we'll be playing in town here at the Uptown VFW.
Yeah, we're playing at the Uptown VFW on October 15th. So that'll be a really cool show. Have a lot of art going on. Our friends Feed the Dog are playing with us. So
Gin Mill Hollow.
yeah, and
we got some people live painting and doing a bunch of fun stuff.
It's nice to play at home because, we have people we love here. And I feel like sometimes they're like, when are you you're playing music all the time, but when are you playing here? It's like, 6 months from now. So,
This is the home tour, the Victory Lap.
The Victory Lap.
exactly.
Summer's over. Let's
Do you
bring
have
it home.
any new music in the works?
We do. We do. We're like super close.
Nearly there.
Nearly there. So nearly there to our next record coming out.
Yeah, we have like another 6-song album coming out. It's pretty much all recorded. We just need to
Cross the T's, dot the I's.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
The high five. Perfect. Beautiful.
Buffalo's herd together.
Oh, wow. Very, very wise. Very wise words. What are 3 things you're loving right now?
3 things we're loving.
Oh.
I am loving my plants
Okay.
and my cat right now. And so you go next.
I've been loving the sunshine lately. The sunshine's been out.
Yeah.
That's really
lately.
nice.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's actually I'm loving the temperature at night. And during the day I run hot, so it's been really nice. The other day I sat in the sun for a while. I can never do that in the summer down here.
Ooh, I love we love our sound guy, birthday Nick Coleman.
Oh yeah.
And we also love our bus. Our bus is back on the road. It was off the road for a minute and now it's back. So
That's so excellent. Those are some wonderful things to be loving.
Yeah.
Do you have anything left that you want to say to our Radio K listeners?
Stay cool.
Yeah.
Support community radio and college radio.
So true. Wise words have never been
Yeah.
spoken. Thank you so much for coming on, you guys.
Thanks
It's been a
for having
pleasure
us,
having
Kat.
you.
Thanks.
Yeah, likewise. It's good to see you again.
Yeah, it's good to
Yeah.
see you again too. It was great to see you walk in. I was like, wow, best day ever, TGIF. But yeah, we're tossing it back to the booth. We're tossing it back to DJ Downbeat. And yeah, this has been Behind the Scenes with Off the Record. And you're listening to Radio K, Real College Radio. Thanks for tuning in.